Hello, I'm starting this again. A minute ago I had the video link and I had it set up wrong and it wasn't going to work, so I started again. I see somebody in the chat, that's nice. Today this video is going to be quick. I want to recap where we are and talk about the plan for what to do. So in here I haven't put in many grades, but I'm going to do some today. We're going to have similar categories to last quarter. There's going to be one for tickets. Obviously, that's the most important thing in this class. Do you fix projectors, help people with their boards and setting up devices and so on. There's going to be one for videos. We've been doing those FAQ videos and a lot in the first quarter, not so many more recently. So if you haven't done one yet, make sure you're on that. And some people already have one kind of assigned that they were given, like I think Riley, if you are watching, I sent you that video and I asked you to add some audio and send it in so we can continue where we left off on those. And then there's one category for inventory, and that is if you help organize the cabinet in my room or the document cameras that have been coming in, or if you've gone to one of our storage rooms, helped take computers from one place to another and obsolete or not, things like that. So those are our three main categories, and you're going to have a grade in there if you've done basically anything this quarter along those lines. That'll qualify. But then another thing we're doing is the I got a question. So for projectors, do you want me to make a video? Well, okay, so here's the project. We have a project this quarter, and I made a spot for it in the Google Classroom assignments, and I'll make a spot for it in the gradebook as well. In fact, it's going to be two. It's going to be two different steps to this. So first of all, take a look at this spreadsheet. I hope it loads. I asked some people to choose their groups, and I got a few who decided to put themselves in a pair, and for the rest I put them in groups myself. But either way, you have your IDs here, so you can share with those people. If you have already, if you were in here last week and you said, hey, what's your email, and I'll share this Google slide with you, and you've already got this started. But if not, use these. Like maybe you start a slideshow and share with the people, and then you can work on the same thing. And you have a topic. So these are presentations for each other. Okay, this is not like the FAQ videos that we send to people who need to know how to check their email. This is presentations for the class. Okay, just to recap, what I'm trying to do is build up to bigger things. In the second semester, I want to have us go through a nice little course over IT stuff in general, where you learn the basics of what you would learn if you took an IT course in college or something. And I want to build up to that by starting small and also starting with stuff that is absolutely directly related to what we do in real life, not theoretical, but how do you use these specific projectors that we have in the building, or these specific screens, or what are the parts of these specific computers. So if you open a slide, put some info on there, keep the mindset of going for stuff that is real life applicable in the building, in the room. If you're talking about projectors, we can learn about projectors in general, and you can talk about how they work, and what general types there are. But specifically, what about the projectors that we have? I'm pointing to the ceiling, but I don't have one on my ceiling because we took it down. How do these work? They have, for example, VGA input. Most of projectors you would get today, if you bought a brand new one, would have HDMI, but the ones in the school use VGA. The ones in the school have speakers, but we never use them, so you don't have to worry too much about talking about speakers. The ones in the school are mounted on the ceiling, so you have to change the setting for the angle. It sort of projects a little trapezoid that kind of ends up being a square or rectangle when it's on the wall because it's at an angle. It also has to flip the image so that it's not upside down, even though the projector itself is upside down. Things like that are just nice basic things to know. When you set one up, you have to keep that stuff in mind. The computer parts. In the older days, we used these big desktop computers, and they were really nice because you open it up and this power supply is huge and the DVD drive is huge, and they're all identifiable. But when you want to use the new desktop computers we have, they're really small and everything's compact, so it might be nice to use one of the old ones as an example. But they have the same parts in general. No DVD drive in these new ones. Cables, we have lots of different cables, and I really would like to know the names and be able to say, oh, this is the specific, this is the type C or whatever, and not just have to say, oh, it's the one with the round edge, or it's the one with the 3 prongs, or when you're talking about a USB, there are a couple different kinds. I can never remember which is which, but if we had somebody look into that, present it with pictures, and explain, that might be something we use. One group is doing the touch screen, and I'm talking about not touch screens in general on a phone or an iPad, but specifically the Promethean active panels that we have in the room. What kind of inputs do they have? What kind of output do they have for the touch? Chromebooks and Wi-Fi. I just had a question today. Somebody brought in a device and wanted to get it on the Wi-Fi, and it's not the same as the way our Chromebooks connect automatically. It's something we had to type in a password. Every time I get asked those questions, I have to look it up because I don't quite remember. But if we had some of you guys look into it, put all the info down, then we can reference this later when we need it. Okay, so I mentioned that this was going to be 2 steps, and I don't mean to make it a huge project. It's not going to be like, the biggest speech in the world. It's going to take 20 minutes, but let's do this. Okay, the first step is to make the info presented on some slides. You don't have to use Google Slides, but of course, that's what everyone is familiar with. If you want to use Prezi or one of those other slightly fancier apps out there or websites out there, you can. But if this ever loads, you can put the info into some slides and start off with a nice title page telling us the topic and the names of the group, and then you get into maybe 1 or 2 slides about the background, like what is this thing and why is it the way it is. And then you get into the main info, which is, here's a picture of a thing, and here's what it's called, and here's why it's there, and here's how to do it. If I were you, I'd open one up, share it with your group members, and then you can all edit, and you might split it up and say, okay, I'm going to do this section, and you do this section, and so on. So that's the first step of the project, and you can probably do that hopefully today. So I know some groups already started last week. Just the slides, get it all in there, and turn that in. Okay, and that'll be a grade, and that'll be a point where I get to check it and say, ooh, let's add some of this, let's rearrange this, make it nice and understandable to an audience. Then the next step, the final step, is to actually present it. So if we were all in the room, you would stand out by the board and present like in the old days. But what we want to do this time is to make a video. Okay, that's not step one. I don't want you to make a video today. First, you want to do the slides, add all the pictures and all the text like you would normally. But then you're going to do a video, and it's going to be kind of like the video I'm making right now, where you will have you just share your screen plus a little webcam insert in the corner. I'm using OBS through the streaming on YouTube, but you can do other stuff. If you are on a Chromebook, I would recommend an extension called Loom. You might have seen that in other classes. I've recommended it. I've seen other people use it, both teachers and students. And I know it works, and most importantly, I know it is unblocked. It is available for student accounts on the Chromebook because we've used it in the past, and are using it currently in other classes. So you go to loom.com, and then you go to the thing where you choose the right, oh my gosh, I don't remember if I signed in with Google or something else, but it'll ask you to add the Chrome extension. You know what, it's probably better if you just like go straight to the download instead of, just search Loom Chrome extension and then click that. That's probably what I did in the first place. And that allows you to record your screen with a little webcam insert. It's a circular one. It looks very distinctive. If you've ever seen a Loom video, then you will recognize it. It's got that little circular corner piece. And you will go through your slides and describe them, not just literally read the text, but talk about the same stuff you would talk about if you were showing it in person. You would add more detail or anecdotes or stuff that wouldn't be every single word written down. In general, by the way, I don't want you to put a giant block of text on your slide. I'd rather have an image and then a couple bullets. And then when you speak, you would speak in full sentences and add more, but it's really bland if you have a paragraph on screen and then read that same paragraph out loud. It's no fun. That is my plan. So you're going to have the grades as last time. You're going to have tickets, inventory, FAQs, and I'm going to put in some of those grades today. And yes, that means some of you guys are going to have zeros, but we can fix it. We have plenty of time. Some of that is possible this week. Some of that is possible next week when you're in person. And yes, I might ask some of the CTE kids to come in because, well, that's a requirement, but also you got to do the assignments, and I don't want to wait until the last minute. By the way, I posted a thing on Classroom about the schedule, and it'll take you to this doc that has the days for quarter 2. Here's the current week. We have 2 A's and 2 B's in our e-learning. Tomorrow, by the way, is parent-teacher conferences. I might send some emails about that. And then we have 2 weeks of just totally normal in person, if you're in person, school, that second one is probably when we'll do the big stuff, presentations or tests or whatever you have in other classes. And then we have some e-learning at the end, but we don't want to save anything to the last minute because some people might be hard to reach if they travel, or if they, if they have any issues with getting sick during flu season. I know that's something we're worried about. It would be nice to use this last week or so to do makeups, retakes, finish the grades, and not have to worry about doing it for the first time at the last minute. So that's it for today. I see no more questions in the chat. There was one about the projector, but I hope I answered that by talking for 20 minutes or whatever I did. So I'm going to end this video now. If you're watching it later, please let me know if you have questions. But really, just most of all, get started on the group presentations. Check the assignment and classwork for the link, and that'll open up this, and use these ID numbers to share your doc with the group members, and then get started.